Hello everyone, myself Chandrasekhar G. I've been with Autodesk since 5 years as a developer technical consultant in DAS team. Today we are talking about what's new in Inventor 2023 API. Let us start. In Inventor 2023, 0 objects have been removed, 20 new objects have been added with 273 new functions, 16 functions have been removed, 92 new functions have been added on existing objects. 3 functions have been modified. In the last release, Inventor 2022, 2 objects have been removed, 23 new objects have been added with 199 new functions, 51 functions are removed, 172 new functions have been added on existing objects, 2 functions have been modified. In this session, there are 4 categories, namely Pod Documents APIs, Drawing Document APIs, Assembly Document APIs, and Generic APIs. We'll start with the Pod Document APIs. In this, few new APIs have been introduced, and one enhancement has been introduced in FeatureControlFrame. Our second category is Drawing Document APIs. Only a couple of new APIs have been introduced. Our third category, Assembly Document APIs. In this also, only few new APIs have been introduced and one enhancement has been done for derived component. Our final and big generic APIs, you can see it is having a huge list of new APIs and enhancements. Let us start with our new enhancements in FeatureControlFrame API object. In this, there are 5 new APIs have been introduced, namely profile type, auxiliary feature indicators, inline note, enable inline notes, enable auxiliary feature indicators. In our next slide, ModelDatum Target object have been introduced to create, edit, and delete ModelDatum targets. In our next slide, many developers were looking for to determine the mass properties of a surface body. So in Inventor 2023, this properties, surface body mass properties, introduced to get the mass properties of a surface body. Many apprentice lovers were looking for this property sets, file property sets. These file property sets have been introduced for apprentice server document and apprentice server drawing document as well, which allows us to query and edit the file level properties from apprentice server. A new property called local type property, which allows us to query the local type of an asset object. ShowTextBorder, which allows us to display the text inside the border, which is implemented to all note related objects like bend note, chamfer note, general note, leader note, punch note, model general note definition, and model leader note definition respectively. Many developer wants to know the precise range box of an object. So in Inventor 2023 has been introduced. A property called precise range box has been introduced to get the precise range box of the document than the range box. There are a couple of properties have been introduced in new BOM options object, namely hide suppress components in BOM allows to hide the BOM rows that link to the suppress components. Another one is renumber items sequentially, allows to renumber BOM rows sequentially. Another browser enhancement in BrowserFolder object, one is to add an internal name property, allows us to query the unique name of a browser folder. Another one is get reference key method, allows user to bind back a browser folder using a reference key. New APIs have been introduced in ContourFlangeDefinitions, namely set distance width extent to is distance width extent asymmetric, and finally distance width extent to allow users to query and set the second distance width extent for ContourFlange feature. The replace function have been introduced for derived assembly component object, which replaces an existing derived assembly component with another one. Another enhancement for derived component, there are two new APIs have been introduced. One is link face color from source, and another one is link sketch formatting from source for derived assembly definition, derived part definition, and part options object. Another couple of properties have been introduced to know and set the base drawing view as a default text property source in drawing view and sheet object. In Inventor 2022, the default model state name was master, but in Inventor 2023, default model state name is called as a primary. For that reason, in language tools object, current primary model state name string has been replaced with current master model state string, which is hidden because the default model state name is changed from master to primary. Similarly, is valid primary model state name has been replaced with is valid master model state to determine whether a string is valid primary model state name even for localized string. A new property called enabled has been introduced in mini toolbar list item, which allows us to enable or disable the list item in mini toolbar list item. Another property called is text acceptable allows us to determine whether the text in the text box is acceptable or not in mini toolbar text box. This is very interesting method. People who are interested to call dimension constraint to a model dimension, this method will be useful for them. Till date, only one value can be assigned to a property set. But in Inventor 2023, a method called setPropertyValues allows us to set multiple property values in a property set. A primary property has been introduced in positional representation object to determine whether a positional representation is the primary one or not. Many developers are very much interested in these two properties because it returns the software version information of the file when it is created or saved. Copy to method is also added to revision table object to copy revision table from one sheet to another in the same document. Another two methods called StartRenderingRateRecord and StopRenderingRateRecord allows us to calculate the rendering rate information in a view. The most important topic for design automation API. From the past years, we have been talking about this APIs. Developers can run their customized plugins in the cloud using for design automation API without using the license. That is an important point here. Customize applications like configurators, importing or exporting the foreign files can be incorporated, can be added to this, can be performed using this for design automation, right? Without using a license, because all CAD applications have been uploaded as a cloud engines for design automation. So using first platform, you can utilize it. Currently, there are 4 cloud engines are available. One is Inventor, second is Revit, 3ds Max, and AutoCAD. Our developers have developed samples in order to understand how design automation is working for Inventor. So these are the samples are available in our site. Come and utilize and create your own samples or your own task. In order to know forge related events, you can browse to forge.autodesk.com/forge events. In this link, Forge customers are also encouraged to schedule activities with experts like below. Having a virtual coffee break, schedule one-on-one time with an expert, Forge accelerators, get one-on-one support, and you also get schedules of upcoming Forge accelerators. The Q&A session is arranged on March 10th. We'll be answering on that date. Thank you all.